I'm waiting for him. All right, well, we'll get started. Review the Minnesota series. Didn't like our game Friday night. I think I mentioned that after the game. Just didn't think too many guys had. Well, we had too many guys not have their A game that night, and we can't afford that with where we're at. And I'm not so sure. Wasn't so much working hard as much as working as smart as we need to work, and spend our energy in the right manner. And so I didn't think we played a smart enough game to give ourselves a chance Friday night. And then Saturday I thought we played much better and smarter game. But there seems to be different things affecting us at different times. And so while I thought we had a pretty decent overall defensive effort, we didn't generate nearly the amount of offense that we need to generate to win. And so, the frustration continues, and the questions I get asked, well, how are the guys doing? The guys are fighting through it and staying together. Same with the staff, and we're looking for answers. So this week is a week that obviously we have an exhibition game against a very skilled group on Saturday, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of look at our game. We spent a lot of time the last couple of days looking at our game and seeing how we can either change it, obviously improve it, to work towards getting the results that we desire. And so at least this gives us an opportunity over the next 2 weeks to work towards that, and in the process have an exhibition game to try some things. So that's where we're at. What can I answer for you?
Tom, offensively on Saturday, do you think it was more of the fact that you just didn't finish, or you just weren't getting the good chances to get that second?
Well, we definitely didn't finish. I thought we had some good quality chances. Actually, both nights we had some good quality chances. The Friday night game, we had a breakaway that we didn't get a shot on goal, and we had kind of a 2-on-0 that we didn't get a good quality shot on. And so getting in that scoring area and making the goalie really make a good stop is something that we've got to do a better job with, not just in the number of quality chances that we get, but the quantity of them. And so I thought we had a number of decent quality scoring chances on Saturday, but I'd like to see a higher quantity in the prime scoring area.
With the fact that you were up 1-0 going to the third against a pretty skilled team and had them a little bit frustrated, is that something you can sort of look as a positive to take out if you play this way and do XXY, that this could be a sign of a turnaround? Well,
I did think that there were parts of the game in particular that we played quite well. And, one critical factor in games is when you give up goals. And so giving up a goal on Friday night in the first 21 seconds is not positive. Now you've already dug yourself a hole. And then in this case, playing pretty well through 2 periods and giving up a goal in the first minute of the third period is not positive. So I thought our guys responded to that, but those are key swing points in games, first and last minute of periods, and so we lost momentum that we had built up over 2 periods then, and you don't want to do that.
Coach, over the course of the season, you guys have had leads, especially close leads going into the third period, and all of a sudden you see those evaporated. Why do you think that's become such a consistent factor of this team this year?
Great question. Great question. I think if we had found the answer to date, it wouldn't happen. But I don't know. We've given up goals in different ways. The game-winning goal we gave up, I thought we had a chance to move the puck out of the zone, and we turned it over, and that's been a consistency for us. And now we're back in the zone, kind of in scramble mode, and they made a play. But it's been different reasons at different times, and so the one thing that has been consistent is we haven't given ourselves much margin for error, and that makes it that much more difficult. And so we oftentimes look at the defensive end, but on the offensive end, to be able to create a little bit more gap, or when you do make a mistake and it costs you, it's not fatal. That would be a nice nice way to deal with things a little bit too. So we got to get that out of our mentality. And I didn't sense that on the bench. I thought the mentality was good. I thought the approach was good. But it's certainly frustrating.
Do you think just a quick follow-up, do you think the fact that you guys are playing with a shorter defensive core maybe has something to do with that?
Could. Yeah, that could be, and that's something we've been paying attention to for quite some time. We knew really the first half of the year, culminating at Northeastern, the number of minutes guys were playing back there was higher than we felt was the right number, So we've been trying to figure out ways to reduce that number a little bit, and so we've done some personnel things. I think we've done a better job managing that. I do think that was a bigger factor earlier in the season, for sure, where maybe fatigue became an issue late in games. I don't think it's been as much now. I think we've done a better job managing that. We played Justin Humayan last week and gave him some experience and got him a few minutes. And that wasn't an easy situation for him to walk into, going into that rink, But I thought he competed hard, did a good job, consumed some minutes. And I do think it's something that he can continue to grow with a little bit. And that may be an answer for us to help give us some better numbers back there than we've had so far this year. And we'll continue to work with Chris Knutson, too, to see if we can get his game at a level that we feel more comfortable with. But without a doubt, that was an issue earlier. I don't know so much right now.
Tom, some time ago when this mess started, I remember you talking, I don't remember what game, it doesn't really matter, how you saw a look in your eyes. I think it was Michigan Tech when you lost and tied, that your team really hated losing. And I'm asking you now, 2 months later, do you see that similar distaste for losing in your team?
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's the one thing, is difficult of a situation that we're in. Coming into this season, I thought we had a good group, and I stand by that. I think the group's together. I think the leadership is doing a really good job in very difficult circumstances. And I think we're all looking for answers. And that's the good part, is we're all in it together and fighting through it together. And so without a doubt, yeah, our guys, they don't accept losing. They don't feel good about it. We all know that we're disappointing everybody we represent, and we've got to fix it.
And you didn't expect any of this, obviously, so how difficult is it for you to come in here every week and try to explain this?
It's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult, but we've created the circumstances, so you got to stand up and deal with it. It's easy to lead when everything's great. These are great challenges, not challenges you want to put yourself into, but you got to embrace it and find ways to get through it. So yeah, it's a very challenging team dynamic, and it's a challenging personal dynamic, for me and the rest of the staff. And we're scratching and clawing every day, and we're gonna get through it. There's no doubt in my mind we'll get through it.
Tom, how do you approach an exhibition game in the middle of the season like this? Do you want the players to kind of keep in mind that it's just another game, or do you let them get a little bit looser coming up on this week?
Well, the intention isn't to get looser, and I think it's been different in different seasons. I think where we are, we're trying to get our team game to a place that we can build some confidence off of, and it's not there yet. So as we continue to assess both our personnel groupings, what I mean by that is line combinations, defensive groupings, and so on, and the various tactics systems that we're using, are there things that we might be able to do differently to become better? And so that's been an ongoing process, and obviously we're not where we want to be, so we have to keep searching. And so I think it presents a different dynamic in that regard, where maybe we can go into this game and try some things that we haven't tried to see how they might go, and see if it's something we might want to carry forward, or see if we want to just abort it altogether. But that's how we're going to probably approach it. But anytime you play, you're competitive. You want to do well, want to compete at a high level. You're playing against a very skilled group. They're young, but very, very skilled. I watched them play yesterday, and they're very talented. So it's probably as talented as a group as you play most of the season. So that presents a challenge for all the players. Every player wants to go on and play. I don't know what the number will be when we play, but at the game I was at yesterday watching the same team play, 30 NHL teams were represented, so you want to bring your best forward, So anytime you put your gear on and you play, those competitive juices flow and you want to do well. But I do think from a team perspective, given our dynamics where we sit today, there's things we want to try to see if we can use this as an opportunity to kind of further examine our game and get it ready for the continuation of the Big Ten season.
Yeah, that kind of plays into what my next question was going to be. It's kind of look at it as an opportunity to sort of look inwards and maybe try some things out with you guys. What sort of things are you maybe looking at doing this weekend?
Oh, they could be systems changes. They could be line combination changes, personnel use, variety of different things that maybe we haven't necessarily given enough time to, or maybe we've given some practice time to, and now this is an opportunity to give a little more game time to. So I think all of those things will fall into play. My intention as we sit today is to play Ed Minnie in goal, give him an opportunity to start a game and play the game, and give Hildy the week off in terms of playing a game. So, that's one scenario.
Coach, especially that he will be playing against the National Team Development Program, would you expect Ed Minnie to start in goal this week, or will it be Hildebrand?
Are you serious? Yeah, my plan is to play Ed.
Sorry, I zoned out.
Yes, you did. Maybe that's my trouble. No one's listening to me.
How would you rate?
You're having a hard time recovering from that question, aren't you?
What I was even going to ask now. Humayan on defense, he got an assist. Looked like he, worked hard doing what he was supposed to do in that situations. Do you see that continuing for very long?
I don't know. We're going to see. We know we've got to try some different things. I think to the earlier question that we didn't like the number of minutes that guys were playing back there, and we did think that it impacted their play and the team's play, especially as games went on, and it's very difficult to sustain those kind of minutes when you're playing back-to-back nights. And so we thought we'd try it. And, Humi was getting, 6-8 minutes a game as a forward. And, I asked him if he was up to give that a try and take a look at that and maybe make a greater impact there when we can move somebody into the spot he was in up front. And he embraced it. I thought for a first go-around, we didn't give him a lot of minutes the first game. And a lot of that had to do with, he's been practicing for a week. You go onto that big ice surface. That's a big enough adjustment as it is, and we didn't want to overwhelm him. But he embraced it. I thought he did a pretty good job overall on the weekend, and something we'll continue to stay with and kind of evaluate as we go.
You changed lines around, defensive pairings, everything. What did you think of Saturday's result?
It's interesting because as we assess it, there's some different things you look at. We scored 3 goals by our so-called third and fourth line. And so that's positive. You're getting productivity there. We weren't getting productivity from 1 and 2, and if that's what you want to call them, and the same holds true on their end. They were getting productivity from their top line, or top 2 lines. And so we've got to figure a way how to mitigate that and get more productivity and yet try to stop the other team's top lines as well. And so that's where I think you experiment a little bit with line combinations. And I think this week, going back to your question on the exhibition game, it gives us a chance to try some different people in different spots. And so, I thought Haig had another good weekend overall. I thought Pavlik had another good weekend overall. I think their games are continuing to improve, and I think they're growing in confidence. And those are the kinds of things that we thought they could bring to the table. So as that evolves, that creates more dynamics for you, and it can make a greater impact on your lineup. So I think those are some positive takeaways from the weekend. Good? All right. You guys have a good day.